I'm going to talk about how COVID-19, aka Corona, changed the internet, together with my colleague Maria Namestnikova. It was a difficult thing for me to do this presentation because, as some of you know, I'm in Sweden, and Sweden has a different way of handling COVID-19. Our society is not really closed. We're a bit open. I can go out to the forest. I can go exercise. I can do basically everything that I could before. The only thing that I can't really do is go to a concert or a place where there's more than 50 people. That's basically the situation in Sweden. But I have a presentation for you, and let's call it the Corona effect, and how Corona actually changed the internet and how it maybe changed us as humans. It's a very theoretical presentation. It has some data, some statistics for you guys, but it's actually a presentation that lies very deep into my heart. So I hope you enjoy it. So let's start with cyber, right? That's where we're in right now. It's a global problem, a global phenomenon. And as you can see on the chart right now, I'm showing you the blocked web threads for this Corona situation that we live in right now. And as you can see that it increased all the time. And there's a specific peak, which is actually when Europe started to put people in quarantine. And I think this just shows you that the cyber criminals are also in quarantine and also working quite hard, spreading their malware, doing their phishing campaigns, and so on. And we as humans, we go home and we start using our computer, and we're not getting the protection from the company as we should. I mean, right now we're working from home through VPN, and we don't get the same protection as we normally have when we work in the company, right? So that indication started another research, and that's actually to look into the malware detection in our database and see, okay, what kind of malwares do we have that has the COVID-19 file name inside, inside a string or in the actual file name. And you can see that there's 4 peaks, 3 big ones, which is kind of interesting. And between the second and the third, you can see that it also goes down every time, and that is actually quite interesting. That is weekends. So I guess the cyber criminals are not launching their cyber campaigns during weekend, which is kind of interesting. But and the digital threats that we have against us. I mean, we're taking our work computer back home. We're working in our home environment, which is, in most cases, unless you are a super computer nerd, not as secure as the company, right? We also have proof that cyber criminals are actually using this COVID-19 situation to spread malware, to exploit people through social medias. So social engineering is a big thing right now, and because people don't really know anything about the situation. We're looking for proof, we're looking for statistics, we're looking for data, so we're more eager to actually click on links and visit websites which we don't really we cannot validate them in a proper way. And maybe the last part is that, with all these people being forced to work from home, maybe even quit their jobs, companies are saving money. We don't really have the same budget anymore to buy penetration tests, security audits, or maybe buy licenses for security software and so on. So we're not getting the same security as we should. At this point, I just want to introduce Maria as well, because Maria, my colleague from Kaspersky, is going to talk more about the digital threats, how education has changed, how entertainment industry is facing some big problems.
Okay, so what I wanted to talk about is while David is in Sweden and he doesn't actually know what's happening during the current time, I helped him a little bit because in other countries many things has changed. And first thing is, many people say that it's so boring to sit at home during this self-isolation time. It's not about me. I have 3 kids at home, and it's not boring at all. But still, I understand all the people. And as I see it and as I understand it, the first aid in all these stressful situations, like some pandemics or other stress situations, is a natural reaction of all people. It's for sure some kind of humor. And I wanted to show you a little bit of internet changing during the coronavirus pandemic, and what I first see in the whole internet, always, all the time, and it actually didn't change, are memes. And memes actually are here, but they all about coronavirus. It all started in January and February when they were only about some exotic disease, and they were very relaxed, and it seemed like nothing terrible is going to happen. But still, memes were many. After that, the big second half of March, when the lockdown started, people started posting jokes about toilet paper, for sure, about working from home. And my favorite one is sanitizers became so expensive, like best perfumes almost. And the memes about superstars, movie stars that present sanitizers that they probably use, or maybe not. Hopefully they do. And then in April, we all got used to the situation, and memes became what I'm doing during the quarantine. Like, I'm introvert and nothing changed for me and that stuff. And for sure, we are all waiting for lockdown to finish. And by the end of April, people started posting what will happen after that. And if we're talking about what will change in the future, for sure, memes will be here with us, and the humor will be here with us in the most severe situations, I think. And by the end of May, or maybe at the end of June in some countries when lockdown will be over, we'll see, I think, a lot of memes like, let me back in, do not want to communicate with all those people again, and all that stuff. So it's a little bit about fun. But actually, we all are trying to entertain ourselves, not only with memes, but with other stuff that we can do online or offline, but with IT devices, more or less. And we finally, many of us, finally have time to play our favorite games. And the most important thing is that many office people brought their office laptops at home. And now they have good enough gadgets to install Steam or other platform and start playing. And so they do, actually, because analysts from PC Gamer already noticed that there are some changes in Valve statistics that show that some office laptops are really install that Steam software, and so office laptops are becoming gamers' laptops at the moment. And for sure, not only Steam is the software installed on laptops that are at the same time working machines. As David already mentioned, we have controversial situation when on one side working machines go home and start being at the same time home machines and working machines, and laptops that people used at home are now connected to corporate networks and start being corporate networks at the same time. This is a part of KSN statistics that we see online game store related notifications. It's not only malware, it's also adware. After this presentation, we will publish also another graph with only malware, and it's exponential, very nice. Also, maybe all of us already heard about the leak of Counter-Strike and Team Fortress source code, which for sure will be, unfortunately, very nice for bad guys, because they will start searching for vulnerabilities in it. So actually, players and gaming industry is under attack at the moment. What else has changed? What will stay the same? is that people started using their time more in more like a thoughtful way. They started like, for example, studying online. They try to make some online courses and that stuff. At the same moment, in some countries, even school children are studying online now, and in most countries, university do that. And many offline courses are going online at the moment, and I think that they will stay the same because it's easier not to rent any room for your courses. It's easier to gather kids from different parts of the city. It's easier for kids if they have some like small like a small flu. They do not go to offline courses, but they still can attend online. So it's very useful and very comfortable for everyone. So it will stay the same, I think, after the current time. Also, the museums and other cultural stuff went online, and so you can attend exhibitions, museums. Some of them were online before that, and some of them do it for the first time. And you should actually check out some of that stuff because some of it is really interesting. And for sure, show must go on. And the theaters, circus, and many other shows, even opera goes online, and you can check out something in the evening with your second half, or maybe with kids. It's also very interesting, and all that stuff will stay online because it attracts attention. It gives the opportunity to the people from other countries that do not have enough time or money to travel to go to the world's most famous museums. It's a very good initiative, and much effort were put in it, so no one is going to just put it into garbage. And at the same time, cyber criminals also understand what's happening and use it. And now you see the statistics also from our KSN that shows that the attacks, the notifications from websites from malicious websites that contain some kind of mentions of educational or cultural objects also grows. So it's like museums, education, teaching, and that stuff. So I think that it all means that we all have a lot of work to do, and I think it's probably good news. I think that there will be many more actors because, unfortunately, some people do not get their salary. They are going to become criminals. And being offline criminal when everybody is just sitting at home is not that... doesn't make sense. So offline criminals will go online, and online criminals are not going anywhere. They're very comfortable, as David mentioned. They just keep on working, keep on being there. And at the same time, there are so many new opportunities for them, so many new attack surfaces, because unexperienced users go online, teachers, children, like museums workers, all that people that were not prepared to work online all the time. At the same time, we start using more online services that we didn't use before because we preferred to go somewhere by ourselves. And now we tried it, and many people see that it's much more convenient. Also, new software is developed, not only like brand new ideas, some startups, but I mean just new stuff that people think, oh, okay, many people go online, let's do something as well. And they do it tactically to keep up in time, to be there while the pandemic is still here. So many people do online services in a rush. Many people try to establish their cloud infrastructures in rush. The remote working also established very fast. So we at the moment have really a lot of work to do. Let's just as security analysts protect them all, help them all, teach them all how to be like safer. And as for now, we also not only security analysts, we're also human, and we have many more things to worry about, not only the internet for sure during this pandemic. And now David will keep on talking and will give you some advice on how to get prepared and how to help the world to fight this pandemic.
Yeah, I want to take this opportunity to talk to everyone that's listening right now, because for me, COVID-19 and Corona is more than just digital threats. You know, we can talk about everything that's negative with Corona. We can talk about the finance crisis. We can talk about people dying. We can talk about, everything that's happening around the world right now. But there's also a lot of positive things that's happening. And I think if we can just take a moment right now and talk about that, because we've seen a lot of people being creative. We see a lot of creativity when it comes to the way we're living right now. I mean, we have large enterprises who are working 100% to do installations remotely, to not send anyone, to not expose anyone to this new virus. They're doing a fantastic job to continue their business, to continue helping their clients and improving, their business. We also have a lot of creativity when it comes to creating new apps, new programs, new modifications of apps, because we're forced to think differently now. I mean, people work from home. We need new statistics. We need new data to, manage everything from transformation to do purchasing, to do factoring, to do whatever it might be. We need, think in a different way, and we're being very creative. And let's also give a big shout out to all the hack spaces around the world who are taking their free time to create, mouth protection or, whatever it might be that they're doing to help healthcare, help organizations, help people around the world with whatever they need help with. It's amazing to see how people can help each other. And we're also seeing, a lot of people sending home their staff. They get paid, but they're not really working. So they might work on a 50% basis or something like that. And I mean, it's kind of cool to see all these companies to not just waste their employees' staff, but also educate them, to train them in doing different things, to train them to become better. So when this crisis is over, they actually come back even stronger and even more educated in their field. And that's kind of cool. And, here's a picture of me and my beautiful girlfriend, Christine. We start to exercise a lot. I mean, we take health. I think in general, people take health much more seriously now than they did before. We think about what we eat. We think about our travels. We will think about our exercise, because no one wants to be infected. And everyone wants to be healthy right now. And maybe the most important thing is that we change our mindset about doctors and nurses. I mean, before we knew that they were really good, but now we understand that they're not just really good, they're freaking amazing, right? Without them, what would we do? I mean, a lot of countries are spending a lot of budgets on the military and on other things, but in real life, we should actually spend it on doctors and nurses, because, now in these times of a crisis, we really understand the importance of these people. They're doing an amazing job. And, a virus that can hit anyone. It really can. So take my advice, spend less time in front of the computer and a little bit more time, eating healthy, making healthy food, going exercise, or do whatever you can. I know that some people are in quarantine, but maybe you can do something, and whatever you do is important. We also see people playing, instruments from the balcony. They're having dinners at the balcony. We also see a lot of Facebook groups and social media groups where, people help the elderly. They go shopping, they go buying things. And, it just shows us that, in these times of crisis, we have the solidarity inside of us, which is really amazing. And not just, individuals, but also a lot of companies helping other companies. We have companies such as Absolute Vodka who just stopped their production and started to do hand sanitizers. We have, this perfume company who also started, to do hand sanitizers. We have, companies using their own product lines to create healthcare equipment, which is really amazing. And I mean, just look at Kaspersky. I actually want to give Kaspersky a big shout out as well, and all other security companies who are offering free services and free licenses to the healthcare organizations. That is really cool, and I hope more companies and more people will start doing things for free to help the people who actually need help. And maybe the most important thing that actually affects everyone. I mean, it doesn't just affect people in Sweden or in Italy or Spain or it's a global problem, and that is the environment. I mean, just look at the numbers that we're seeing around the world. Pollution has dropped. We don't fly as much anymore. We don't commute anymore. We don't stay in traffic when we commute. And also, I think people will start to realize that, we don't have to do things as we did before. Of course, we need the toilet papers that we've seen, all the memes, all the GIFs, all the stuff. We need the toilet papers, but everything else we can skip, right? We just need the toilet papers. But we just know that we don't need all these different things. I think we reevaluate ourselves a little bit more. And that actually comes down to this slide. I mean, reflection. People are in quarantine. They're home with their loved ones. They're home alone. It just gives you time to reevaluate what's important for you and your family, for your life, for your career, for everything. And, there's so many cool stories about people who found each other in times of this crisis. Maybe even couples who had a little bit of problem before, they will find themselves, forced to work at home, stay at home. And I just believe that there's just as many people who fell more in love as there are people who come to the conclusion that they have to break up, right? I just think that in these times, we have a lot of positive things that come out from analyzing, re-evaluating ourselves. And, I was asked, so David, what do you think about, the future? How does COVID-19 and Corona change us? What will the future look like? And I'll just give you the honest answer. I have no idea. But if you think about it, we started to use the internet in a different way. I think that we are entering a new era when it comes to the Corona and COVID-19. The post-COVID-19 era will not be the same as it was before. I think we'll reevaluate traveling and hospitality, factoring, and the entire digital transformation will speed up because we realize that things doesn't have to take as long as it has been before, right? We adopted really fast of working from home in modifying our services and our products to actually work in a situation. I think the entire e-commerce website just exploded. And then let's just talk about, at home entertainment like Netflix and streaming services, all that, gaming, all that also exploded. I think after the COVID-19, we'll be in a new world. And hopefully, I know that I wrote this in the presentation, that many of these changes that we see today with solidarity, creativity, and all that is temporary. And I really hope within my heart that it's not really just temporary, that some of this will stick and we will actually be more helpful to each other and live a little bit different. And, I also think that we can change, we can modify to have a better life if we just work together. So I want to thank everybody for attending these days for the Security Analyst Summit. And I really believe that if we work together, we can solve this. We cannot do it ourselves, but we will be able to solve this in the future. And